Much. Chairman Mayhew.
We've had a very full debate today, the third backbench business today, but it's not the third debate on dentistry. Just for myself, I had a German debate on dentistry. It's been well rehearsed. The reason why so many people are keen to speak today is because this is an issue that goes right across the country. We all know that there's a problem with NHS dentistry. We all know that the government is focusing on it and that they are coming up with the dental plan. We're anxiously looking forward to its publishing in the next 2 or 3 months. So I'm going to use the few minutes open to me to focus not so much on the national problem, but to recognise that within the national difficulty, there are also regional crises. Because if you look at rural areas like North Devon, but also like the east of England and Norfolk in particular, you can see that what is already a challenging picture nationally is exacerbated in these areas. And to identify this issue, you only have to follow the money. So I'm going to look at funding, and then I'm going to talk about recruitment and retention. Look at the funding for the east of England. Now, I know that funding has been impacted by COVID. The ability to undertake units of dental activity were restricted because of the COVID pandemic, because of the aerosol activity of much of dentistry. And I know that funding subsequently has been increased because of the catch-up bid. So if you look at the numbers for the year 2018 to 2019, that gives you a more accurate reflection of the level of investment by the government in dentistry in the region. The national average gross spending per mouth in England is £66, or was in that period. The best performing region was the Midlands, where they received £78 of expenditure per mouth. The figure for the east of England was £39. That is fully half, exactly half the amount of money spent on dentistry per head of the population in the east of England than in the Midlands. Now, there are many unconfirmed rumours about the number of fingers and toes we have in Norfolk, but we don't have half as many teeth as those in the Midlands. Not yet, anyway. So my request to the Minister is to follow the numbers, look at where the expenditure has been taking place, and more importantly, look at the numbers at the places where the expenditure has not taken place, and ask the question of your officials, why is that? Why is it that even though we have the worst dental health in many parts of the east of England, the expenditure by the government is fully half what it is in the Midlands, and £20 per person less than the national average? Now, looking to recruitment and retention, a potential answer to my first question is that there physically are not enough dentists in the east of England to carry out the work undertaken. Now, the national average of a number of dentists per 100,000 of the population is 43. In the east of England, we have just 39. That compares to Devon, where there is a dental training school, where they have 49. And you think, well, why is it that people don't want to be dentists in Norfolk? And the answer is because it's rural, and if you grow up there, the nearest place you can train is Birmingham. You cannot train to be a dental technician or a dentist anywhere in the east of England. It's the only region of the country, other than the southeast, which is next door to London, that has no dental school at all. And so you can either go to London, you can go to Birmingham. Is it then surprising that we don't have an indigenous population of would-be dentists growing up, training to be dentists in Norfolk, and then staying there for their working life? So we're reliant entirely on people relocating to the east, and to Norfolk in particular, in order to supply our dental needs. But when you qualify as a dentist in your mid-20s, the overwhelming majority of people do not wish to move to a rural location, even though it's without question the best place in the country in which to live and grow up and bring up a family. It is not immediately attractive. And a policy which relies on importing foreign qualified dentists also does not satisfy the need for rural locations, because overwhelmingly what the data tells you is you import, let's say, South Africans or Australian dentists, they relocate to the cities. And that's where they set up their new life, where there are already expat communities. They do not move to Fakenham. And that's a problem which is very real in Fakenham, because I persuaded the NHS to write a wholly new NHS dental contract for Fakenham. That contract went out. Not a single organisation bid for it. So the money is there, but there is physically no supply of NHS dentists. But it goes further than that, because the lack of dentistry spreads out into the private sector as well. There are many examples of private dentistry in my constituency, in the constituency of the Honourable Member for North Norfolk and for North West Norfolk, right across the county, where they have been advertising not just for years, but in one case that I'm familiar with, for a decade, and have yet to fill that place. So surely, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the answer, whilst the short-term answer for the national issue may well be to improve access to international dentists, the medium and longer-term solution for the east of England, and Norfolk in particular, is to establish dental training in the county. There are two ways you can do this. In the short term, the very short term, I hope, there is a bid by the University of East Anglia to create a Centre for Dental Development. This is a postgraduate training establishment that helps to draw in newly qualified dentists from other parts of the country. And the hope is that if they do their postgraduate training, at least in the East, then a percentage of them will remain. There is a, I hope not competing, but complementary additional application for the University of Suffolk in Ipswich. These should not be in competition. These are bids which should be working together to improve access both in Suffolk and in Norfolk. But the real solution, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in the medium term, is to unite with the University of East Anglia and their existing medical school to create a dental school in the UEA, where they have already the Quadram Institute, which is the world's leading centre for the study of the gut biome, which of course begins with the mouth. You have the NNDR. The Norwich Hospital is Norfolk and Norwich Hospital is right next door, and we have the ability then to bring people in, to train them in the city of Norwich, when thereafter the evidence from the medical school demonstrates that a percentage of them will remain and have their careers. It also helps because of the hybrid nature of the UEA bid, where even in the first year of that 5-year training, they would be spending at least a day a week working in practices, helping work through the backlog of dentistry and developing those relationships with communities which will make them more sticky to the region once they qualify. All these will go towards the long-term solution of the dental desert that we have in Norfolk. And I conclude by saying I very much look forward to the publishing of the dental plan in the next few months, but it would be the most monumental wasted opportunity if that plan did not include training for dentistry in Norfolk.